तो हम वही वीडियो कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं अपनी। नीनो दा चुना Nino da Cunha assumed the role of governor of Portuguese interest in India November 1952 and shifted the capital of Portuguese in India from Cochin to Goa in 1530. It was during tenure of him when Muzaffari dynasty ruler Babu Shah of Gujarat sought Portuguese assistance in 1534 during his conflict with Mughal Emperor Humayun. In exchange, Bahadur Shah ceded the island of Basin and its revenues to Portuguese, promising them a base in due. Mm, as a part of Nation, Baju Shah ceded the island of Basin and its revenue to Portuguese, promising them a base in due. However, the relationship soured when Humayun withdrew from Gujarat in 1536. Hmm. तो बहादुर शाह ने क्या करा प्रपोजल पार्टीशन वॉर but the Portuguese opposed this and opened negotiation. These negotiations however took a fatal turn when Bahadur Shah was invited aboard a Portuguese ship and killed. Additionally, Du Juna aimed to expand Portuguese influence in Bengal by settling Portuguese nationalists established Hubli as their headquarters. Other important Portuguese governor Antonino de Nora. It was during the period of Nora Mughal Emperor Akbar visited Cambay in Gujarat. Gujarat. UNCS Francis Xavier. Impact of state of Portuguese India. Hello, Portuguese the India. There are general tendency among historical historians to underestimate the impact of Portuguese rule in India. However, the impact Portuguese rule was much larger than it is believed to be. This introduced many novelties in Indian social, cultural, economic, political fabric. The successor powers like British copied what the Portuguese set in motion, like the custom duties, pass system, and administration. Cultural impact of Portuguese, फिर हम पढ़ेंगे military impact in other fields, decline of Portuguese in India. अब इसके बाद चैट जीपीटी खोलेंगे. Give me the PYQs year-wise on the topic European penetration into India. Give me question of mains and prelims year-wise. Hmm. Hmm. ठीक है तो अब कल्चर इम्पैक्ट देखें पोर्चुगल व्हेन इट केम to social religious policy. The Portuguese displayed religious intolerance and prejudice during their rule, especially toward the Moors Muslim whom they considered their bitter enemy. Further, they compelled indigenous people to convert to Krishna. Further, they compelled they compelled indigenous people to convert force forced indigenous people to convert to Christianity, reflected in the Goa Inquisition policy initiated in 1560, whose major objective was to convert the Indian into the fold of Orthodox Catholicism. This approach sharply contrasted with prevailing religious tolerance in India, leading to strong disagreements. convert the Indian into the fold of Orthodox Catholicism. Catholicism means Catholicism. Catholic, Catholic, Catholicism. To convert India to mainstream and make them part of culture. Role of Portuguese missionary Francis Xavier. Francis Xavier. Saint Francis Xavier was founding member of Jesus Orient in Portugal, which aimed to propagate the idol of Christianity in the New World. On the order of King John III of Portugal, Xavier arrived in India in the Portuguese capital Goa in 1542 for the purpose of spreading the light of Christianity. Christianity. In India, he was fondly called as Gyonoch Sahib by the natives and played a major role in conversion of fishing community called as Paravaras of Goa into the fold of Christianity. Into the fold of into the fold of meaning to become part of a group community. He also considered to be the first Christian missionary to visit the region of Japan and Malay Peninsula. During one such missionary trip, he died on Shonchan island of China coast in year 1552 CE. His holy remains were shifted to India. Holy remains were shifted to India in 1554 and initially kept at Saint Paul College in Goa, which was founded by Xavier himself in year 1542. Lately, his holy remains were shifted to Basilica of John Bom Jesus, where his remains were preserved without any chemical formula and is brought down one in every 10 years. UNESCO World Heritage Site है. Boom. Portuguese and the Mughals. Portuguese even tried to convert Mughal emperor into Christianity in September 1579. Akbar, the Mughal emperor, sent a letter to Goa requesting the presence of two learned priests. The church authorities of Goa, eager to convert Akbar and his court to Christianity, selected Jew- Jesuit fathers Rodolfo and Antonio for the mission. They arrived at Fatehpur Sikri in February 1580, which were involved in religious and philosophical debates that took place in Ibadat Khana. However, despite the Portuguese hope, both the 1583 and 1590 missions failed to convert Akbar to Christianity. The third mission, invited by Akbar in 1595, extended his influence on secular politics and included Father Xavier and Emmanuel Finero. Their latter provided vulnerable insight into Akbar's later reign. Upon Jahangir's accession to the throne, he initially distanced himself from the father, but later renewed his favor. In 1606, the priests were allowed to keep the church at Lahore and conduct baptism in Agra in 1608. Although there were hopes for converting Jahangir, these aspirations ultimately went unfulfilled. Additionally, strained relationship between Portuguese viceroy and Mughal emperor continued to compli- complica- complexity of the situation.